In the snowy landscapes of Finland lives a girl named Hanna Heller. She is only 16, but her body and mind are tempered as if she were the best fighter in an elite unit. The secret to her exceptional strength and endurance lies in her DNA, modified by CIA special program to create the perfect soldier. From childhood, her father, Erik Heller, trained her as a living weapon, preparing her for a single mission: revenge. Hanna is fluent in many languages and can survive in any circumstances. But what were all these years of grueling training for? And what secret is hidden in her unusual DNA? The purpose of the exhausting training is revenge on a woman thousands of miles away. A woman Erik seeks to avenge at any cost. CIA agent Marissa Wiegler is the cruel woman who once killed Hanna's mother, Johanna Zadek. And Hanna, his daughter, is to become the instrument of this retribution. After another exhausting day of training, Erik notices that Hanna looks sleepy and asks if she is all right. She must always be focused. He tests her language skills. Her father proudly notes how his daughter is getting stronger. While hunting a deer, she misses the heart and examines the animal. He follows her unnoticed. When Erik suddenly attacks to test her reaction, Hanna demonstrates remarkable high-level self-defense skills, and her blows truly cause Erik pain, forcing him to feel the consequences of her training. Every evening, Erik teaches her by reading aloud amazing facts about the blue whale, whose tongue weighs over 2.5 tons, or historical details, such as the story of the dog Laika, the first animal to travel into space during the USSR era, doomed to inevitable death. These facts captivate Hanna, but the girl has never heard music. Her entire life has been lived in complete isolation. Her only entertainment was Grimm's fairy tales at night and looking at photographs of her mother. Her training includes not only shooting, pull-ups, and running, but also refining a fake personality, a legend that she will use during a special assignment. Erik can attack her any night, so she is always ready for unpredictable circumstances. "I'm ready," are the words that invariably come from her lips. One day, upon seeing a plane with her own eyes, Hanna feels a surge of emotion, as it is the first evidence of the world beyond her isolated life. However, her father does not share her excitement. His mind is occupied only with revenge. They have a special beacon that, with a single press, will alert the CIA agent Marissa Wiegler to their location. Marissa was once Erik's boss, and he, also a former CIA agent, holds secrets dangerous to her, so she would eliminate him at the first opportunity. When Erik returns from hunting, he sees that Hanna has pressed the button on the beacon. This can only mean one thing: Hanna is ready to go out into the world. Marissa, shocked by the unexpected signal, cannot understand why the beacon was activated now, not earlier, not later. Erik Heller was recruited into the CIA in 1991 and was a central figure in intelligence operations in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. In 1996, his fingerprints were found on a pistol next to the body of Johanna Zadek, Hanna's mother. Such was the CIA's information, but the truth is that Marissa herself killed Johanna, framing Erik in the official documentation. Marissa is convinced that people must be sent after Erik immediately, but her team believes they have more serious problems and that this is not their responsibility. Marissa is convinced that if they hand Erik's case over to Interpol, every intelligence agency in Europe will learn of their secrets. Meanwhile, Erik and Hanna repeat the plan of action. After completing the mission to eliminate Marissa, Hanna is to go to Mr. Grimm's cabin in Germany, where she will be met, and then meet Erik himself in Berlin. He orders the girl to think even when she is asleep, and to remember everything they have learned. The man tidies himself up to visually fit into society, takes a backpack, and walks through the cold, snowy forest. Now Hanna must wait for the arrival of the special services, who will follow the beacon's signal. At night, while doing push-ups, Hanna hears a sound. It's a helicopter. Through a crack, she sees a blinding light and people surrounding the house. She extinguishes the candle, realizing the time has come. A few of the first men break into the cabin, but before reinforcements arrive, they are already neutralized by Hanna, who pretended to be an innocent teenage girl. Marissa is informed that Erik Heller escaped in a snowstorm. Hanna is taken to a secret CIA base in Morocco. A local doctor is sent to speak with her. He understands that the current situation is very unusual and strange for the girl. There are many cameras around, observing them from every angle. The man tries to be friendly, offering to bring the girl what she wants, perhaps some magazines. But Hanna's only wish is, "I want to talk to Marissa Wiegler." At that moment, Marissa, who is listening to the conversation, suddenly says that she will come to talk to Hanna today. But she had her own treacherous plan. In the lab, scientists are shocked as they examine Hanna's blood samples. After a repeated test, they are certain Hanna is not an ordinary girl. For them, it was new information that her DNA had been altered to deliberately increase her strength and endurance, making her a perfect soldier. But for Marissa, this was no revelation. After the interrogation, while Hanna was in her cell, a woman posing as Marissa Wiegler visited her. It was an obvious deception, but Hanna immediately recognized the substitution. She asks the woman where she met her father, Erik. While Hanna listens to the false answer, she suddenly starts to cry, which was just the beginning of her plan. She hugs the woman to get as close as possible and mercilessly breaks her neck. She takes the guards' weapons and shoots every single one of the annoying cameras in the room. She escapes through a tunnel that was sealed during the alarm and makes her way through the ventilation system to the lab. A single threatening look at the scientist was enough for him to voluntarily lock himself in a cabinet. The fear of knowing about her blood and her abilities simply paralyzes him. Marissa sits and still cannot comprehend how much this girl has grown in her abilities. Hanna manages to climb out of the ventilation shaft, realizing she is in the middle of a desert. She clings to the bottom of one of the cars that drives over the manhole, allowing her to get some distance from the CIA base. The edges of the desert are nowhere to be seen. Everything is new to the girl. She has never been to such places before, so starkly opposite to cold Finland. Marissa Wiegler takes secret files from a safe and burns them. These are the files about past events, about Hanna's mother, whom Marissa once killed by shooting their car right in the middle of the road, when Erik, Johanna, and little Hanna were trying to escape together for a peaceful life. Hanna's mother's last words were, "She will never be yours," meaning that Marissa would never get her daughter. Meanwhile, Erik saved little Hanna, running into the forest and hiding her there for many years. As Hanna walks through the desert, she meets a girl named Sophie, who is there with her younger brother, Miles. Hanna sees that she is in a car with her parents, and Sophie offers her a ride, but Hanna prefers to walk. Marissa gives orders to focus all efforts on finding Erik Heller first. She is convinced he is a greater threat than Hanna. The girl watches the local people, quietly stealing clothes to change into. She is amazed as she looks at the camels and the local population. She goes to a man and learns that she is in Morocco. Suddenly realizing this, she immediately switches to Arabic with him, which greatly impresses the man. She asks to stay the night for free, and captivated by her language skills, he gives her a room. Like an alien, she is surprised by a mundane device, a lamp, electricity. She had only heard about it from her father's oral stories every evening, and most importantly, television, which captivates the girl's gaze. This is what happens if you literally grow up in a forest. She tries to turn off a ringing phone with a TV remote, and all this noise scares her. So she simply runs out into the street. Marissa goes to a bar to meet a reliable person. This is Isaac. She needs his talents and she wants to hire him to find Hanna, and she will take care of Erik herself. He is interested to know if Hanna lived up to Marissa's expectations. Oh yes, and even more. Meanwhile, Hanna meets Sophie and Miles again, and they invite her to have dinner with their parents. Hanna listens to their conversations, and Sophie's father is surprised that she is traveling alone at such a young age. She answers the woman's and man's questions, and they learn that her mother died long ago from 3 bullets. Hanna examines the medical report about herself, which she stole from the lab during her escape. Abnormal. That's how her DNA can be described in one word. But tomorrow, she must move on to find a way to get to Germany. Meanwhile, Isaac wasted no time and has already found the man who rented the room to Hanna. On camera, they realize that Hanna has snuck into the back of Miles and Sophie's family's van. The family plans to take a ferry to Spain. Through a crack, Hanna watches the family's communication, how they happily spend time with each other. At that moment, Miles notices her but says nothing to his parents. When the family stops to eat and spend the night, the girl runs out of the van. She finds a pool and drinks water from it. When suddenly Sophie emerges from the pool, she knows Hanna was in the van and promises to help her and tell no one about it. But there's a condition. There are 2 Spanish boys here. Today Sophie wants to meet them and wants Hanna to be with her. But for that, she will have to change clothes. She can't wander around in these clothes like a madwoman. They do go out with the boys, and by the bonfire, people enjoy guitar music and dancing. This was the moment when Hanna heard music for the first time in her life. In an awkward silence, Hanna sat with the Spaniard, and then, directly and without shame, she asked if they were going to kiss. But when he tried to kiss her, she instinctively almost broke his neck. At the time, Hanna is experiencing life. Erik is already in Germany and has stopped at a hotel, and a postcard from Morocco arrives for him. Hanna reports that she has eliminated Marissa, but we know this is not true. Isaac's team is looking for Hanna, but in the tent, they only find Miles himself, as Hanna and Sophie were out and arrived later. Meanwhile, Marissa visits Johanna's elderly mother, Hanna's grandmother. The woman says that Marissa will never understand what it's like to lose your daughter. For years, she had been waiting for some kind of signal from her, while she participated in an American program from the CIA. On that note, Marissa mercilessly shoots the grandmother in the back of the head. In the tent before bed, Sophie and Hanna have a sincere conversation. Sophie wants to know more about the girl, but the only thing Hanna can say is that there are people who want to harm her, and for Sophie's safety, she cannot tell her more details. Hanna says she needs to go to Berlin, and at that moment, Sophie gives her a friendship bracelet to remember her by. Hanna kisses her as a sign of thanks, which surprises the girl, and they fall asleep. In the morning, Sophie tells her parents that she spent time with Hanna yesterday, and that she promised to give her a ride, so now she won't have to hide in the trunk, and they have already set off on their way together. But Isaac and his team didn't miss this moment and immediately set off after them. Erik is constantly being followed in Berlin. The man realizes that there is an agent right behind his back, and not just one. Now he is surrounded by 5, but this does not bother him, and he deals with each one of them with his bare hands. On the radio, he hears that Marissa continues to give orders, so this can only mean one thing: she is alive, and Hanna has not completed the mission. In the van on the road, Sophie's mother talks about nature, that the countryside brings one closer to God, but she sees anxiety on the girl's face. Hanna has noticed a suspicious car following them, but said nothing to the family. Erik calls Marissa. During the call, her agents try to track his location, but at that moment, her agent is shot through the door. Erik breaks down the door, but Marissa is no longer in the room. Instead, she has climbed out the window. All the way, Hanna was looking in the rearview mirror. These people are still following them, and Sophie's mother breaks to look at a map. Hanna warns Sophie that no one should get out of the car and that Sophie should not follow her. Now, Hanna must get out of the car. She gets out and runs, weaving between the port warehouses. Isaac's team tries to stop her, while Isaac himself whistles slowly, looking relaxed between the rows. The worst thing is that Sophie ran after Hanna, despite her warning not to follow her. She watches in shock as Hanna stabs one of the attacking men and flees. Another man continues to pursue Hanna, but he fails and falls far behind. The only one left on her tail is Isaac himself, but there is nowhere else to run. Hanna's only way out is to jump into the water. Marissa interrogates Sophie and Miles's family. The father says that Hanna immediately seems strange and detached from the world to him, but Sophie, during the interrogation, says she knows nothing and won't say. Marissa lies to the family that it was Hanna's father, Erik, who shot her mother, but this is obviously not true. Miles liked Hanna, and when he hears that something bad might happen to her, under pressure from Marissa, he reveals the information that Hanna is going to Berlin to meet her father. Meanwhile, Hanna is now wandering the streets alone. She stumbles upon an abandoned amusement park with dinosaur figures. This is the house of Wilhelm Grimm, the address where Hanna was supposed to go, the man Erik told her about. He greets her warmly and gives her information on where exactly Hanna should meet her father. And he also gives her a passport in which she will paste her photograph. This surprises her. Why does she need a piece of paper with her photo? These are the modern realities that are incomprehensible to a girl from the forest. The man turns on the music loudly and starts dancing, but because of such loudness, they don't hear a car approaching. The worst happens. Marissa is already here, and not alone, Isaac and his team are also here. They begin to interrogate Mr. Grimm about Erik. Hanna hides on the second floor under a bed. And when Marissa goes upstairs with Isaac, Hanna hears in their conversation that Erik is not actually her father, but everyone around and the owner of the house did not know this. When Marissa goes back downstairs, Hanna seizes the moment and escapes. She stops at an internet cafe to find information about her DNA. She also finds information about Erik and realizes that her father is a former CIA agent. She manages to Google her grandmother's address. When she arrives at the location, Erik meets her. He asks her to calm down, stating that although he is not her biological father, he is still her father, no matter what, because he raised her. But he tells her the truth. She was born in a research center in the Polish village of Galinki. The research involves scientists perfecting embryos, enhancing senses, and reducing the ability to feel fear and regret, all to create the perfect soldier. Erik met Hanna's mother at an abortion clinic. He recruited her for the experiment, along with 20 other women. When Hanna was 2 years old, Marissa Wiegler shut down the program and killed all the other children. But Hanna survived thanks to Erik. He says he loves her. However, she calls herself abnormal, and tears roll down her face. A fight with Erik suddenly begins. She wants to leave, but he resists her, though not very successfully. He asks her to understand that he was just trying to prepare her for life. Suddenly, a car pulls up. It's Isaac's team. Erik circles between the cars, causing an accident and delaying them somewhat. In the yard, he suddenly attacks the men, eliminating them one by one. After he deals with Isaac, Marissa Wiegler is waiting behind his back. She points a pistol at him, and Hanna, running, hears a shot. Erik is no longer alive. Hanna goes to Mr. Grimm's cabin and realizes that something terrible has been done to him. He has been hung upside down, and the poor man is also no longer alive. Who can Hanna trust now? In a terrible atmosphere, she looks out the window and sees Marissa. It's time to run, and Hanna quickly runs out into the street. Marissa hurries after her, taking a shortcut through the forest to a tunnel, which allows her to intercept Hanna. Marissa deceptively pretends to be good, that she just wants to talk, but her intentions are clear. Hanna turns to leave, but pulls out an improvised bow and arrow. When Marissa shoots a pistol, Hanna releases an arrow. Although the bullet hits, Hanna endures the pain and manages to get up. She enters the tunnel to find Marissa, who has gone along it. But Hanna sees a wounded deer. This deer is not just an animal. It is a symbol of her childhood, her training, her connection to nature, which now in this chaotic world seems even more fragile. Wounded, Marissa climbs the stairs to the attic, but at one point, while grabbing her pistol, she slips and falls. Now the pistol is in Hanna's hands, and she says to Marissa, "I miss the heart." These were the last words Marissa Wiegler heard before life left her body. Erik's revenge, passed on to Hanna, was complete. But what now awaits the girl who has lost everything she knew and has discovered the shocking truth about her origin? Will she be able to find herself in a world that was hidden from her for so long? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new interesting stories.